Today we're driving the 2024 Mercedes-AMG SL63. This has the 4-liter biturbo V8. It makes 577 horsepower, 590 pound-feet of torque. That engine is mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission. Surprisingly, it's all-wheel drive, and there's no 48-volt mild hybrid component. You may have heard on startup there was a starter. There is a hybrid SL63, however. It's called the SL63 SE, and it brings electrification into the mix, makes 800 horsepower and over 1,000 pound-feet of torque. That's not this car, but hopefully we'll get a chance to test that at some point. Let's talk about this SL63, discuss what it's been like to live with this week. We'll walk you around it, talk about that, and then we'll take it for a drive and give you guys some driving impressions. Let's start on the outside, and then we'll move back into this interior. This is painted in Patagonia red metallic. Pretty nice looking color on this SL63. Love these optional wheels. This starts at $178,000, and as tested, it's just shy of 204 grand. So, not cheap. The SL never has been, but this is getting up there in price. It looks good. We have a night package, a driving assistance package, a front nose lift, a bunch of options in this SL63. I will include those in detail in the description so you guys can peruse. We'll get on with this review though. Let's check out the cargo space in the back with the top down. Not too bad actually, all things considered. I was expecting a little bit less actually, and there's even a bit of room to put some stuff in the back there. It goes pretty deep. We've got some more space down there. That's nice to see. And buttons to open and close the trunk. Love all these dark, kind of almost smoked chrome badges, matching the exhaust tips too. This thing sounds fantastic. This 4-liter biturbo V8 is a sweetheart of an engine. We just drove this in the Aston Martin DB12. It was great. In some ways, I kind of think Mercedes makes it sound a little bit better. This is a bit more, I don't know, guttural and throaty and deeper, and has a bit more drama to it. It really kind of just growls away under throttle. And with all the drive mode selections you get in this SL63, you can really adjust its character and change the way it sounds too. We have these really annoying door handles, which I guess help with aerodynamics, and they look cool when they're open, but you always have to press this lock button to open them to get into the car. It feels like you're locking the car, and I'm kind of afraid that I'm going to lock my keys in the car. I don't know. They don't feel particularly nice when you open them up, but they look cool, and I guess having flush door handles is kind of the thing these days. This back seat is mostly just a shelf, but we do get this very nice windscreen, and this actually works really well. At speed, there's very, very little wind buffeting in this SL63, and I think this is best enjoyed with the roof down. We'll put the roof up later on in the video, though, to give you guys an idea of wind noise, road noise, and VH. It's all very nice. It's all very comfortable, as you would expect from AMG. Let's pop the hood and look in the engine bay. All right, here's a look at that 4-liter biturbo V8. Hood mounted on struts. I like that. This is rated for 14 miles to the gallon in the city, 21 on the highway with a hot V setup. It looks good. You can see the turbos right there. You can feel the heat. And yeah, again, like we said, very, very nice sounding engine. A lot of torque, a lot of performance here. It doesn't really need a mild hybrid component. This feels great living with it this week. I've really enjoyed this powertrain. The 9-speed auto shifts awesome. It's gotten better and better and better over the years. Mercedes has really refined this transmission, and as an all-wheel drive car, it really puts its power down. This also has a rear steer component. I believe it's only a couple degrees, but you do feel it. It's not as dramatic as it is in the E-Class or the S-Class, but it definitely helps with handling. Let's see, what are we riding on here with tires? These are Michelin Pilot Sport 4S tires, 305/30 R21s in the rear, and 275/35 R21s in the front. Looks pretty good. Nice beefy braking setup, and these Pilot Sport 4S's always have the most attractive sidewalls with this kind of matte bit that absorbs all the light. Good looking wheel too. Almost looks like a center lock wheel, but it isn't. AMG has just some of the best wheel designs these days, in my opinion. All right, I think the new SL looks pretty good. It's kind of aggressive. Honestly, driving this week, this reminds me of the AMG GT. It sounds like it, feels like it has the same sharpness. There's a bit more of an emphasis on performance here. I mean, there is a lot of performance. It drives great. I'll top and side, we'll get into the interior a bit, and then we'll go take it for a drive and give you guys some driving impressions. Seats are very comfortable, but they do have really aggressive side bolsters. You'll need them because this thing really does pull a lot of G's around the corners. You've got all of your seat controls, your seat memory controls, your heated ventilated seats right here, mirror controls right here. You've got an option to roll up all 4 windows at once, which is great. I like that. You do have to hold the buttons though. We have a Bua Mesta sound system. These vents that look like turbine blades. And you may notice, oh no, the top's down. There's a bit of glare on the infotainment screen. Well, there's a solution to that. You press this button and it flips up. Look at that. Very clever, very cool. So we experienced this infotainment a little bit in the E-Class we had a few weeks ago. And overall, it's pretty darn good. It's responsive, it's quick, it's well organized. There are minimal clicks or taps between menus and adjustments. And when you get this car, you set it up, pretty much gonna have everything ready to go after the first week of driving it, living with it. I like these constant climate icons at the bottom of the screen. You can go in more depth with a climate menu here, but for the most part, that pretty much gets you where you need to be. You've got quick access controls down here for your AMG settings, your parking cameras, your roof controls, which are also in the screen. For some reason, parking cameras aren't going away though. There we go. So if you want to raise and lower the top on this, you do it on the screen, which is kind of weird. I would prefer a physical button, but again, we've gotten rid of a lot of those here. All your vehicle settings can quickly be accessed here. You can raise the front nose. This does have a front nose lift. That's pretty cool. Turn on lane keep assist. Turn on and off the head-up display. There it is. We'll leave it off this video. You've got CarPlay, which connects wirelessly. My biggest complaint with this infotainment is I just wish there were a few more physical controls, especially for when you're driving this at night. It's just screen and light overload in this interior. It's too bright. If I just had a little dimmer switch down here, I would be so happy with this SL63 and with all Mercedes-Benz products. But instead, here's what I have to do to go in and dim the screen brightness. Settings, system, displays, display brightness. And I have to dim 2 different display brightnesses. So I don't know, maybe there's a quicker way to do it. I've tried to do that through the Mercedes-Benz assistant, but she never knows what I'm talking about and routes me in a completely different direction or just says she can help me out. So it would be nice to see if we had a slightly better system for dimming everything at night. During the day, it's nice to raise the brightness up a little bit so you can actually see everything pretty well, especially with the top down in the middle of the day. But anyway, that's just my main complaint about this. It would be nice to have a few more physical controls, but honestly, everything is organized pretty well. The touch haptic controls on the steering wheel work okay. You do get used to them. They do take a sensitive touch. And then we have more screens down here for our drive modes. So right now we're in Comfort. There's an individual mode, which you can customize. Sport, Sport Plus, and Race. And then over here to the left, we can turn on and off our stop-start, open our exhaust valve, and then change a bunch of different parameters here with these little screens for traction control, suspension settings, exhaust. Well-designed stuff there from AMG and Mercedes. They've had that for a long time. The paddle shifters feel really nice and high quality, just kind of a hard click to them. And I like that this has a column shifter. Very useful, very easy to use. And it does clean up the center area. I will say, compared to the AMG GT, this is a better, a more ergonomically friendly setup. There's not a bunch of buttons right here that kind of are awkward to reach. So I guess this works a little bit better. I don't know anything about the new AMG GT. I assume it's going to be very similar to this, just maybe a little bit faster. But so far this week, living with this SL63 has been very, very impressive. It's very comfortable, it's very luxurious, the tech is quite well done. I will be honest, this is one of the better and easier infotainments to live with in this space. The rest of this interior looks and feels pretty nice. I like all the carbon fiber. Don't like the gloss black right here, that's a bit much. Though we do have wireless charging, couple USB-C ports down there, water bottle holders, cup holders, and then this little thing here that is just to rest your arm on. That doesn't do anything. Got some more storage space down there. There's your headrest adjustments. You get neck vents to warm your neck when you've got the top down in the middle of winter. And we've got some kind of cheaper plastics here on the steering wheel with these buttons. Those don't feel high quality, but everything else feels pretty nice in this SL63. Before we go for a drive today, we've got to talk about this watch and thank our sponsor for this video, Lewis Jewelers in Ann Arbor, Michigan. This is the new Breitling Premier B25 Datura 42. What a name and what a watch. Retails for around $14,000. It has a day, a month, a date, a moon phase complication, and it's a chronograph. What a cool watch. It has so many complications. It looks like a Patek Philippe, but it comes in a little bit under the price point for that. The case design is absolutely stunning here. This is an in-house movement from Breitling, and it is just beautifully displayed there with the open case back. I love the finishing on the side of this case. Kind of reminds me of a piston or something like that. The pushers feel really nice, really soft, very high quality. Winds beautifully. It is a very, very nice timepiece. We try to pair the cars and the watches as well as we can in this Lewis Jewelers relationship. So anyway, hopefully you guys enjoy this on the wrist today. Go check out Lewis Jewelers at lewisjewelers.com. Talk to DK and mention TheTopher. He'll take great care of you guys. Again, Lewis Jewelers is my go-to store for all my watch purchases. They carry great brands like Breitling, Grand Seiko, Omega, Tudor, and many others. So go check them out. All right, let's go for a drive and see what this SL63 is like on the road. Good visibility here too. Easy to park, easy to see, decent turning radius, fast steering too. Doesn't turn on a dime like some of the other Mercedes products with four-wheel steer, but it's still pretty darn good. Love the chunkiness of this wheel. All your inputs here feel great. There's a tightness to AMG products that's really satisfying. Everything just feels responsive, really well calibrated. And it's hard to beat that sound. So we have a bunch of different drive modes here, as you can see on this drive mode screen. We'll keep this up here. Where is that? Press the AMG button. Comfort, individual, sport, sport plus, race. You can go into master race mode with master dynamics and race drive. Not too sure about that. Throttle House pointed that out. I thought it was pretty funny. Suspension, sport, sport plus, comfort. Honestly, riding around in this in sport plus is pretty comfortable. I'm just kind of surprised at how livable the suspension gets in the higher drive modes. So we'll play around with all these today. My individual mode is set to race drive, comfort suspension, pro dynamics, for those who are interested. It's freaking fast, as you would expect. Only 577 horsepower. Yeah, well, it goes a long way. And that power is being sent to all four wheels. So it really puts it down. I think making this all-wheel drive is actually a very smart decision on AMG's part, because it makes the performance envelope accessible and safer for the casual SL63 driver who wants to, have a little bit of fun here and there, or go on a spirited drive. But at the same time, for those who are more performance-minded, you can really hustle this car, and you can drive it all year round too. All right, let's put this into comfort mode. And we'll just kind of cruise around here a little bit up to this light. We're flashing red today. We are. We can set off. Really nice, smooth shifts from this 9-speed auto. And very little wind buffeting at speed. I'm sat pretty low in the driver's seat here. I've lowered the seat pretty far, and there's not a lot of wind intrusion. It's very nice. It's not quite LC 500 levels of wind noise, which is pretty much minimal with the top down, but it's close. We have a number of driving assistance features, settings, things to help us not crash while we're being distracted by the infotainment system. And we can control those with relative ease right here on the steering wheel. Steering assist, adaptive cruise, we can change our following distance. This will even change lanes for us. It's going to do a lane change to the left now while I'm completely blinded by the sun. Sorry viewers, we're going to have to put the visor down. And we can wash our windows right there. And it does a pretty good job of driving itself while we're completely blinded by the light. I like that. Very nice. Oh, there's a cone in the road. It's not going to avoid that. And as you can hear, 70 miles an hour on the highway, I can talk to you and I'm not even wearing my special binaural wind buffeting covers, my earmuffs. All right, let's ramp things up. We're going to go full race. Whenever you're really going for it in this SL63, the seatbelt tightens up on you and it kind of, gives you a little hug. Launch control, when you're really cornering hard or when the stability control senses a little bit of slip, it adds to dramatic effect / a little bit of a fear factor. Savage geese there blocking the road, trying to infiltrate our test drive. They don't know that that's before our turn. So we're in race mode. Let's do a little launch here. Just real quick. Let's see here. Wow. Again, with the seatbelt, giving me a hug. It's a wonderful thing. Very flat around corners. A little bit of safe understeer, but it's very good. And I love the fact that it still has a V8. Honestly, this 4-liter Biturbo is kind of the highlight for me. All right, let's pull off. We're gonna put the top up so we can hear what this sounds like when driven without the roof down. And I think we can do that at speed. So I'm going to press my button here and we'll get down to about 30 miles an hour or so and swipe. I think you have to hold it too. There we go. Got a display there telling us soft top is in operation, and it all happens pretty quickly. I like that. We can put all 4 windows up right here. Ooh, nice and quiet. Honestly, guys, I'm kind of having some trouble finding faults with this SL63. Oh, there was a bit of a rough start. It's really good. Again, this is kind of AMG GT watered down slightly, but it's a bit easier to live with and a bit more approachable. Not as outright high performance, but it's a really nice blend, a really nice balance. Bit of tire noise from the PS4S's, as is typical with every PS4S that I've driven on. But they ride nice. Sidewalls are always a little bit more comfortable on this tire. Wind noise kept to a minimum. A lot of good insulation from this top. We have kind of a suede headliner here too. That's a nice touch. I like the steering. I like the suspension tuning. There's a bit of safe understeer, but the fact that this is all-wheel drive and catered to a pretty broad audience, many of whom aren't really interested in the performance factor, that makes sense. That adds up. I love the way this sounds. I love the power output. It's kind of nice that this isn't a mild hybrid. It's a bit more of a pure experience because of that. It looks good. It is expensive. That's a downside. It costs a lot of money. Starting price of 178 grand. Yeah, that's getting up there. But after driving that DB12 last week, this seems like a bit of a bargain. Let's put our screen back to its natural position. Now, of course, there are a few gimmicky things in here, like the ambient lighting, which I've pretty much turned off. That can get a little bit silly. You've got lights in your vents, and it's all a bit much. But again, that's stuff you can control. I like the brakes. They're easy to modulate. They have really good stopping power when you need them. We gotta do one more launch. That was insane. Brutal shifts there from the 9-speed. I could listen to this V8 all day long. See how the four-wheel steer handles this turnaround here? Oh, with ease. You're going to be right at home at the golf course in your SL63. What do you think? Top back down? fun knowing that you have to hold that. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that. Don't want the pops from the exhaust, you can just put it into sport mode and open the exhaust valve, and it's a much cleaner exhaust tone. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. I like sport mode. That might be the drive mode of choice, if I'm being honest. And you can customize a few other things if you want. Some turbo noises too. I mean, what more performance do you need on the street than that? Thing. Hold the right paddle to put it back into drive. Let's hit one more entrance ramp here. We'll leave it in sport. This handle's great. Little bit of neutral character there on throttle. The rear end came around nicely. The stability control, traction control systems aren't too intrusive here. This is the best SL I've ever driven. I think AMG has outdone themselves here. This is a really nice package. I'm impressed. Yeah. What else is there left to do? Let's test out this Buamesta sound system on the highway with the top down. Why not? I'm gonna engage driving assistant. Swipe up on our wheel with our silly volume controls right here. I guess it would be kind of nice to get a rear camera view. This windscreen really does impede rearward visibility. The Burmester sounds fantastic with the top down. I love it. That's awesome. Cool. That's worth it. The lane centering works very well. All you have to do is just keep your hand on the wheel. You don't need to keep torquing or applying torque to the wheel. So it senses the energy from your fingertips and will just keep doing its thing for miles and miles on end. That's great. Once you kind of familiarize yourself with these controls, they're all very easy to operate. There's a bit of a learning curve initially though. And this is a very, very comfortable top-down experience. The air conditioning is ice cold. On some of the hotter days this week, that was really nice. I think they've made something for everyone here or at least every one of their prospective buyers. It's got class, it's got performance, it's got curb appeal, it's got a little bit of bling. A little bit of intervention there. Kind of a softer rev limiter. Ooh, turbo noises. Hey, that's cool. There are some subtle boost noises from the front when you dip into the throttle, and you get a blow-off sound off throttle. The exhaust sounds fantastic. What an entertaining soundtrack. I love it. Let's see, we're locked into manual mode here. Let's put us back in drive. Oops. Always pressing the wrong thing down here. There we go. All right, guys, that's gonna be a wrap on this video. Thank you so much for watching. Those are my thoughts on the new 2024 AMG SL63. Great car. Well done, AMG. I think this is the best SL I've ever driven. It kind of brings that performance envelope up a little bit to kind of encroach upon AMG GT territory, but at the same time, it's very livable and very nice to spend time in on a daily basis. Remains luxurious, high-tech, pretty easy to live with all the screens and everything, at least considering the competition. It gives the 911 a bit of a run for its money. Not quite as good overall, but it's a really nice full package. And I think a lot of buyers in this space at this price point will do quite well with this new SL63. Let's walk you around it real quick. Show you what it looks like again from the outside. And then maybe we'll chase down one more highway entrance ramp. Also, thanks to Lewis Jewelers for loaning us this Breitling this week. Again, MSRP on this is around 14 grand, so we have two very expensive but very nice luxury items in this video. Yeah, very cool to have this on the wrist. What a watch. All right, let's go drive this a little bit more. We've got an open entrance ramp here. Let's see what this thing can do. I love it. All right, guys, that's gonna be a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.